Hey everyone, I'm back. Thank you all for the texts and calls and all the messages. I've not been feeling really well. The crepe myrtles are blooming and I'm very allergic to them, so my allergies have been very bad. So I'm back and I'm feeling much better, so thank you again. This chapter of my testimony series, chapter 5, is on one of the toughest years of my life, but my spiritual growth grew more in 2011 than any other year of my life. And the events of 2005 and 6, when I was going through my depression and my thoughts of suicide, that time of growing and maturing in faith and just getting my mind and spirit and body and everything in a better place, it was preparing me for what was to come. Every crushing trial and test that we go through is preparing us for something down the road. Until we go home to be with the Lord, we are going to go through trials on earth. We're going to go through depression. We're going to go through tough times. That's when we cling to our faith the most. And that's when you grow spiritually and you're maturing spiritually. And so for me, 2011 was one of those years that, you hope and pray you never go through again, but you're prepared in such a way, and God just showed up and showed out through so many different areas. And I had been having a lot of issues, female issues, for several years, and it just came to a head in March of 2011. I passed out in my office at work. When I woke up, I was face down on the floor. I had a big knot and bruise on my head. But I didn't go to the doctor right then. There's a hospital up the street from the office, but I called my gynecologist, got an appointment. I passed out on a Friday. The next Friday, I was in his office. And on the way up there, I just prayed for God to speak whatever I needed to do, whatever the doctor said, that it would be from God, and I would be at peace with the decision. And I knew going into it what was probably going to be said, but I also said, Lord, just help me to accept it, because I knew more than likely I was going to have a hysterectomy, and I did. And I was giving up the dream of having my own children that I'd had since I was 5 years old. That was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to face. Depression and thoughts of suicide are rough, but this was heartbreaking. Divorce was tough, but this was giving up a dream and something that I love children. I wanted to have children, but it just wasn't in the books for me to have them the way I wanted them. So on April the 7th, 2011, I had a hysterectomy, and the things that were found in the pathology report could not be seen with the naked eye. They had to clean up a lot of endometriosis and cysts, but the thing that was going on inside my uterus could not be detected outside of a pathology report. And it was the beginning stages of precancerous and some in the beginning stages of uterine cancer. So what happened was the Lord protected me from having a long, hard road, and luckily I was at a point where I just surrendered the pain and all that I was going through in my life, and I won't go into all those details, but I really didn't have much of a life. I was in pain all the time. I didn't feel good. So at 34, I had to give it up and surrender. And the Lord did. He helped me get through that time. And yes, there are days when it is still difficult. And it always will be, because I wanted to have my own children so badly. But I know that wasn't a part of God's plan. But I've got to be a part of so many wonderful children's lives. And of course I have Lucy. So she has filled so many voids in my life. And I thank the Lord for her every day and all the children that He's put in my path. And now they're having children. So I did get to have what I wanted in life. And the Lord told me many years later, He said, I gave you what you asked for. You wanted a lot of children, and I've given them to you. You just didn't get to have them. Other people had them, but you get to love them and be a part of their life. So that's why I always say, be very specific. And when you're praying for something, you can never be too detailed and specific for the Lord. I asked for a lot of children. I did not specify I wanted to be the one having them. So the Lord wants us to be very, very specific. And, but that just wasn't a part of the plan. And I've learned to accept that, and I'm okay with that. And I have a wonderful life. And I want you all to know that when you have setbacks and disappointments, that just cling to the Lord, ask Him for, clarity and acceptance, and He will give it to you. While I was home getting ready, healing and getting ready to go back to work, the state of Alabama went through the most deadly day of tornadoes in the history of our state. And several states around us had a lot of fatalities that day. April 27th is a day I'll never forget. I'll never forget that feeling all day. It's still hard when I think about it. I still cry about it every year. Just watching what was going on TV, hearing what was going on around me, and I was home. I had several friends say, I'm going to come get you, and I was like, no, just let me be home, because when you're recovering, you really feel the best being home. You rest, and so I was at home, and so there was another element of 2011 that was very devastating. As I was getting better and the state was starting to recover, on December the 20th, I get a phone call at about 8:15 at work from my dad that I never thought I would get. And my mom had attempted suicide. And it shook me to my core. She was going through a really, really bad depression. And thank the Lord, she is still alive today. And we got through that. But it is very difficult to have gone through that depression and those thoughts myself, and then to see someone that you love go through such a difficult and dark time. But as I said, the Lord showed up and showed out. And He revealed so much to me during that time. As hard as it was to go through that, see what my dad was going through and what I was going through, and of course seeing what my mom was going through, I knew that the only thing that I could do is pray. Pray for her, pray for my family, and surrender that to the Lord. You truly have to learn that you can only control what you can control, and everything else you have to hand over to the Lord. And when you're obedient in that, He will show up in ways you never, ever, ever could have imagined. my friends at work, my church family, my work family, my friends, my family, they stepped up in ways. It really, when you go through times like that, the Lord reveals to you who truly loves you and is going to be there for you on those rough days. And we got through that, and I had already planned to go see Alabama in New Orleans play for a national championship, which was also on my dream list of things to do. And it was a trip of a lifetime. Here I'd just gone through so much in a 9-month period. And that trip, there was not one flaw in it. Everything, he magnified it. He blessed me. And all I can do is say all glory and healing, thank you to the Lord. I couldn't have gotten through that time with the grace and faith that I had I not gone through what I did in 2005 and 6. So I'm telling you, whatever season you're in right now, if it is not a winning season that you're in and you're going through a valley, or you're going through a storm, or you're going through a crushing season, it will not last forever. And God has a reason and a purpose for it. And every time you go through one of these seasons, it's to build your faith, your closeness to Him, and your obedience to Him. I am so much stronger today for having gone through all the things I've gone through in my life that you've heard up to now. The motorcycle accident at 11, my divorce, my depression and thoughts of suicide, having to go through the hysterectomy and giving up my opportunity to have children, being faced with all of this with a parent. It has just built my faith. My foundation is built very strongly. And I remember the night that we had to check her into the hospital, I sat in the parking lot crying my eyes out saying, Lord, I can't do anything but pray and surrender my mom to you. She is your child. So please do your work and heal her. And the road with my mom is very turbulent. But we did have 2 very good years, and she is still here. But, you know, as most people, we have highs and lows. And so I just continue to pray for my mom. And I still have to ask the Lord to help me to accept the things I cannot change, and to accept the fact that I am not going to have babies. But as I said, He gave them in other ways. Anything we ask for, we get. We just might not get it the way we think we will get it. And of course, throughout the next year, a lot of things were revealed, a lot of healing was done, my faith grew, and Lucy was born in June of 2012, and I got her gotcha day was in November of 2012. And I've had that baby for almost 9 years, and she is the love of my life. I know that God sent her, and I thank Him every day for Lucy. And so when you're going through that tough time, just know that He is going to use that, and He is going to bless you the more you trust and obey Him. So whatever you're struggling with, I just beg you to please, please surrender to Him. Ask Him to guide you, give you discernment in your decision making, and follow and obey His calling on your life. I appreciate your time. I always appreciate your comments and you sharing my videos. I hope that you learned something new about me today, and just know that the events of that very, very difficult year of 2011 strengthens me even today. And you're not going to go through that kind of pain and suffering and turmoil in your life and not pull from it when you need strength on your hard days. So use it. Use the tough times. Witness to other people and thank God for them, and know that they don't last forever. As I said, I appreciate your time, and I hope that you all have a very blessed evening. Thank you.